3.3, solving systems of inequalities. Notice you've got two inequalities. And if you recall, what we have to do is identify what the shape is, as well as we look at this symbol. And so in this first example, the less than symbol tells me that it's going to be a dotted line, and we're going to shade below. And the next one is going to be a solid line, and we're going to shade below. So we're going to have two different inequalities, and we're going to see them overlap. Okay, so let's focus on this one first. So again, the less than tells me that it's dotted and shade down. So keep that in mind as we graph the line, or the points that make the line. -2, we start at -2 on the y, that's the y-intercept, and then it's got a slope of -1. M is -1, so that means we go down 1 and right 1, and down 1 and right 1, and down 1 and right 1. Now I would make a lot of dots, and you can reverse the pattern if you want to get even more dots. And the result here is, well, a dotted line. So I'm going to make it into a dashed line. I just think it looks better. But regardless whether you make dots or dashes, the point is to show that we don't include the coordinates on that line. But we do want to include whatever happens when we shade down. So we've got a couple of different options here. I like to save it for later. So I remember I'm going to shade down, and I'm going to hold on to that and just keep that. I'm going to shade down here in a bit. So now let's look at the other one. We see that the less than or equals means it's going to be solid, and I shade down. So y is less than or equal -3. Treat it like y equals -3. Y equals -3 is just a horizontal line. But we're going to shade down below it. So if you think about it, what we've got is the two lines that I've drawn have split the coordinate plane into 4 parts. Part number 1, part number 2, part number 3, and part number 4. You have 4 parts. But what we need to do is we need to shade below the red one and below the blue one. So you're only going to color one of those 4 regions, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And so you have to really think hard about which region is below red and blue. And it turns out that region 3 is below both of those. Shade down from the red, down from the blue. We're going to shade this entire region right here. And so remember what we're doing. We're drawing a picture of the solutions. So I know there are a whole bunch of ordered pairs here, but let's take, for instance, this one right here. That's the point 0, -4. 0, -4 would be a solution to each of those 2 inequalities, and therefore it's a solution to the system. So moving on. Number 2, we see a straight line that is dotted, and greater than means we shade above. And so if I graph this, I've got a y-intercept number of -3, and I've got a slope number of 2. So I go up 2 and right 1, and up 2 and right 1, and do a lot of dots, up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, or down 2 and left 1. And then it's going to be a dotted. A lot of times people get in a hurry and just draw a solid line every time. It's going to be dotted, and we're going to shade up. So I would hold off on that, shade up, but we're gonna wait. So let's do the other one. The other one's going to be solid, and I shade up. So y-intercept number is 1, and I've got a slope of -2. So down 2 and right 1, and down 2 and right 1, and down 2 and right 1. Or reverse the pattern. This one's a solid line. And we're going to shade up. So you've got to be up above the red and up above the blue. So again, you split this graph into region 1, region 2, region 3, and region 4. So you have to think about which region is up above the red and up above the blue. Well, it's region 1. And if you think about it, if you put your pencil on the red and go up, and you put your pencil on the blue and go up, that's where you are. You're in region 1. So we color in that entire shape, that entire region, like so. If I had to name a point, give me one point that's a solution, I might pick the point 1, 2. That's one example of one solution. So we keep going. It's more of the same. I'm going to try to go fast here. So the first one, the top one, start at 3 and go down 4 and right 1 and down 4 and right 1. This is a solid line, and we shade down. The other line, or inequality, we start at -2 and give it a slope of 1. So I go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. This is a dotted line. It's dotted, and I shade down. So down below both of them. Down below both of them. Remember, put your pencil on the red and go down. Put your pencil on the blue and go down. That's where we'd be. Number 4. Start at -1. Going to go down 2 and right 3. Or up 2 and left 3. Looks like that. Solid line. It says equals, right? Greater than or equals says it's solid, and we're going to shade up. So we look at this one. Start at 2. Give it a slope of 1/3, up 1, right 3. Or down 1, left 3. Looks like that. Less than means it's dotted, and we shade down. So above the red one, below the blue one is in here. Now, number 5. Probably going to want to get the y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 2x. 3y is less than or equal to -2x plus 9. And then divide by 3. Y is less than or equal to -2/3 x. 9/3 is 3. Okay. So I see less than or equals means solid line and shade down. So at 3, we're going to go down 2 and right 3. Up 2, left 3, like this. It's a solid line. And I'm going to shade below. So hold off on that. We'll have to come back to that. Let's do this one next. X minus y is less than or equal to. So subtract x. And then -y is less than or equal to -x plus 2. And divide by -1. One thing that's weird, and maybe you'll remember this, but when you divide by a negative, you have to flip the symbol. So actually it turns into greater than or equal. Positive 1x minus 2. So we'll start at -2 and give it a slope of positive 1. So up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, look like this. This is a greater than or equal. So it's a solid line, and I shade up. So solid line, we're going to shade up. So go back and look at the red one. We're supposed to shade below the red one. Below the red one looks like this. But we're supposed to shade above the blue one, looks like this. So which region is both? This region. Below the red and above the blue. Next one. Let's subtract the x over. So we would have 2y is less than -x plus 6. And we divide by this 2. Y is less than -1/2 x plus 3. Dotted line, shade down. Start at 3, go down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2, up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2. Got a dotted line. We're going to shade down. Okay. Let's look at the other one. Need to subtract the x over for that one as well. 2y is greater than or equal negative x minus 6. I divide by 2. Y is greater than or equal negative 1/2 x minus 3. So start at negative 3 and go down 1 and right 2, down 1, right 2, or up and left, up and left. This one is a solid line, greater than or equal solid line, and greater than means shade up. So if we have to shade below the red and above the blue, that just means we shade in between.